Ladies, let's talk about something real today. Why women love strong men. And I'm not talking about just muscles or physical strength. I mean real strength. The kind that stands tall when life gets tough, the kind that doesn't crumble under pressure, the kind that makes a woman feel safe, valued, and inspired. See, strength isn't about being loud or aggressive. It's about being unshakable. A strong man is the kind of man who knows who he is, what he stands for, and where he's going in life. And women, we are naturally drawn to that energy. One, a strong man provides emotional security. A woman's heart is delicate. She needs to feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally. A weak man will make her feel uncertain, anxious, and unsure of his intentions. But a strong man, he reassures her with his actions. He is consistent. He is dependable. She doesn't have to question his loyalty because he proves it every day. 2. A strong man has direction. Women love men who know where they're going in life. Confidence comes from purpose, and purpose is attractive. A man with no ambition, no drive, no vision, that's a turnoff. A strong man walks with intention, and that kind of energy pulls a woman in. 3. A strong man protects, not controls. A strong man doesn't control a woman, he protects her. There's a difference. Protection means standing by her side, making sure she feels secure, and leading with wisdom, not dominance. Weak men try to control because they're insecure. Strong men uplift because they are secure. 4. A strong man commands respect. Ladies, we are wired to respect strength. A man who carries himself with dignity, who doesn't let people walk over him, who holds his own in any situation, that's the kind of man who turns heads. And the truth is, a man who respects himself will always respect the woman he loves. 5, I want a strong man challenges a woman to be her best. A weak man is intimidated by a strong woman. But a strong man, he loves seeing his woman grow, succeed, and shine. He challenges her, not by bringing her down, but by lifting her higher. That's the kind of energy that keeps a woman deeply connected and in love. 6, a strong man stands firm in his values. A man who lives by his principles is a man who commands a woman's loyalty. A man who is easily swayed, who lacks conviction, who bends to every little challenge. That's a man who loses a woman's trust. Women want a man whose words and actions align, a man who stands firm no matter the storm. 7, a strong man is a leader, not a follower. A man who follows the crowd, who seeks validation from others, who is constantly unsure of himself. That's a weakness. Women love men who lead their own lives, who don't need approval, who have a mind of their own. A strong man doesn't chase trends. He sets his own path. Final thoughts, ladies. Let's be honest. Strength is attractive, not arrogance, but true, quiet, unshakable strength. The kind that makes a woman feel cherished, protected, and inspired. And to the men listening, be that man, not just for a woman, but for yourself. Because when you build your strength, your character, your confidence, your discipline, everything else in life follows. Women love strong men because strong men make life feel safer, more exciting, and more meaningful. And that right there is the truth. A woman's heart is delicate, not in the sense of weakness, but in the depth of emotions she carries. She is built to nurture, to love, to give, but in order for her to do that fully, she needs a sense of security. Emotional security is not a luxury for a woman, it is a necessity. It is what allows her to be soft, to be vulnerable, to trust. Without it, she becomes guarded, withdrawn, and hesitant. That is why a strong man is not just wanted, he is needed. Because a strong man provides what no amount of superficial attraction can: stability, safety, and peace of mind. A woman thrives when she knows she is emotionally safe with a man. That safety does not come from words alone. It comes from consistency, from actions, from a deep, unwavering presence that reassures her even in moments of doubt. A weak man speaks promises he does not fulfill. A weak man is unpredictable, emotionally unavailable, or unstable. And when a woman has to constantly guess where she stands, when she has to analyze mixed signals, when she has to wonder whether she can truly count on him, she begins to withdraw. It's not a conscious decision, it's survival, because no woman wants to invest her heart into uncertainty. A strong man, however, understands that security is built on reliability. He is not perfect, no man is, but he is consistent. His love is not based on moods, on temporary excitement, or on convenience. His love is rooted in who he is, in his integrity, in his commitment to showing up every single day, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. He doesn't disappear when life gets tough. He doesn't shut down or run away when emotions get heavy. He stands his ground, he listens, he reassures her not just with words, but with actions that prove she is safe with him. A woman needs to feel that she is a priority, not an option. A weak man treats her like a choice that can be replaced, but a strong man treats her like a blessing to be cherished. That doesn't mean he puts her on a pedestal or loses himself in her. It means he values her presence in his life and makes sure she knows it. He doesn't play mind games. He doesn't create confusion. He doesn't leave her second guessing whether she matters. Because when a woman feels valued, she gives everything. Her loyalty, her devotion, her love, she flourishes. But when a woman does not feel emotionally secure, she starts to harden. She starts to protect herself because she has no other choice. She becomes defensive, distant, guarded. And this is where many men make the mistake of calling a woman too emotional or too complicated, when in reality, her behavior is a reaction to inconsistency. A woman who is emotionally secure with a man doesn't need to test him. She doesn't need to create drama. She doesn't need to constantly question his intentions, because she knows deep down, without a doubt, that he is there, that he is steady, that he is a man of his word. A strong man understands that his ability to provide emotional security is what sets him apart from the rest. Any man can offer compliments. Any man can buy gifts. Any man can create excitement in the beginning, but a strong man provides something much rarer, peace. And for a woman, peace is everything. A woman will leave an exciting, charming, charismatic man if he brings her chaos, but she will never walk away from a man who gives her peace. Emotional security means that a woman feels safe to express herself. She doesn't have to hide her emotions. She doesn't have to suppress her thoughts, her fears, or her dreams. A weak man will dismiss her feelings, make her feel like she's too much, or avoid emotional conversations altogether. But a strong man listens. He understands that just because something may not seem important to him, doesn't mean it's not important to her. He doesn't make her feel crazy for feeling deeply. Instead, he makes space for her emotions, and in doing so, he earns a level of trust that no amount of charm or attraction could ever buy. A woman will naturally submit to a man who makes her feel emotionally secure. And by submission, I don't mean weakness, I mean trust. A woman will trust a strong man's leadership when she knows he is leading with wisdom, with love, with a clear vision. She will not feel the need to take control, to fight for dominance, or to question every move he makes, because she trusts him. She trusts that he will not betray her, abandon her, or let her down when she needs him most. That trust is earned, not demanded. A weak man demands loyalty without proving himself worthy of it. A strong man earns loyalty by being a man of his word. A woman craves emotional depth, not surface-level interactions. She needs to feel connected, understood, seen. When a man can sit with her in silence and she still feels safe. When a man can hold her through her toughest moments without making her feel like a burden. When a man can be her place of peace instead of her source of stress. That's when she falls deeply, because emotional security is not just about avoiding pain. It's about creating a bond so strong that no outside force can break it. A weak man will create doubt. A strong man will create certainty. And certainty is what makes a woman stay, what makes her invest, what makes her build with a man instead of just passing time with him. The world is full of uncertainties, full of people who come and go, full of situations that make life unpredictable. But when a woman has a strong man by her side, she doesn't feel lost. She feels grounded. She knows that no matter what happens, he will be there, not only in moments of happiness, but in moments of struggle. A strong man understands that providing emotional security is not about grand gestures. It's about the small, everyday choices that show a woman she is loved and valued. It's in the way he speaks to her, the way he listens when she needs to talk, the way he reassures her with his consistency. It's in the way he doesn't let his ego ruin the connection, in the way he chooses to understand her rather than dismiss her. Women are not complicated. Women are reactive. Give a woman emotional security and she will soften, she will glow, she will nurture, she will love in ways that make life beautiful. But deprive her of that security and she will protect herself in ways that may seem distant, detached, or cold, not because she wants to be that way, but because she has no choice. A strong man removes that fear. He creates an environment where a woman can be fully herself, where she can laugh, love, express, and exist without feeling judged or undervalued. And that kind of security, it's rare, it's powerful. It's what sets a strong man apart from the rest. Because at the end of the day, a woman does not just want love, she wants to feel safe in love. And only a strong man can give her that. A strong man knows who he is and where he is going in life. He does not wander aimlessly, waiting for someone else to give him direction. He wakes up every day with purpose, with a mission, with a fire inside him that refuses to be put out. This is what makes him attractive. This is what separates him from the rest. Because a man without purpose is a man without direction. And a man without direction is a man who cannot lead. And women are naturally drawn to leaders, not because they need saving, not because they are weak, but because leadership in a man creates a sense of security, stability, and confidence that is undeniable. A man with purpose does not chase distractions. He does not waste his time on things that do not serve his vision. He is focused, disciplined, and committed to his growth. A woman sees this and she respects it. She admires it. Because a man who is driven, who is constantly striving to be better, is a man who has the capacity to build something great, not just for himself, but for those around him. And when a woman sees that kind of ambition in a man, when she sees that he is not just floating through life, waiting for things to happen, but actually making things happen, she is drawn to him in a way that no amount of surface level attraction can replicate. A weak man lacks direction. He is easily swayed by external influences. One moment he wants one thing and the next he is unsure. He makes excuses instead of taking action. He procrastinates, he hesitates, he doubts himself. And when a woman senses this uncertainty, she starts to lose faith in him. She starts to question whether he is someone she can truly build a life with. Because a woman does not want to be the one constantly pushing a man to do better. She does not want to feel like she has to drag him toward his goals. She wants a man who already has a vision, who already knows what he wants, and who is willing to put in the work to make it happen. A strong man does not wait for the right moment, he creates it. He understands that life will never hand him opportunities on a silver platter. He knows that if he wants success, he has to go after it. He has to wake up every single day with the mindset that nothing will be given to him, that he has to earn everything he desires. And this kind of determination, this kind of relentless pursuit of greatness is what makes him stand out. It is what makes a woman look at him and say, this is a man I can trust. This is a man I can follow. Women do not respect men who complain about their circumstances but do nothing to change them. A woman can sympathize, she can support, she can encourage, but at the end of the day, if a man does not have the drive to push past his struggles, he will lose her respect. Because a man who refuses to take charge of his life is a man who will never be able to take charge in a relationship. And no woman wants to feel like she has to carry the weight of leadership while her man sits back, unsure of himself, waiting for things to get better on their own. Leadership is not about control, it is about responsibility. A strong man does not demand submission from a woman. He earns it. He leads by example. He sets a standard for himself that makes a woman naturally want to follow. He does not need to force respect. He commands it through his actions, through his mindset, through the way he carries himself. A weak man tries to lead through dominance, through manipulation, through force. But real leadership is about inspiration. It is about showing up every day and proving through actions, not just words, that he is capable, that he is reliable, that he is a man worth trusting. A woman watches how a man leads himself before she decides whether he is worthy of leading a relationship. If he lacks discipline, if he lacks ambition, if he lacks direction, she will not take him seriously. She may entertain him for a while, but she will never fully invest in him, because deep down she knows that a man who cannot lead himself cannot lead her. And if she cannot trust his leadership, she will start to take control, not because she wants to, but because she has no choice. And the moment a woman feels like she has to step into the role of leadership because a man is not strong enough to do it, she starts to lose attraction. A strong man does not just talk about his dreams. He pursues them with everything he has. He does not let fear stop him. He does not let failure break him. He understands that setbacks are part of the journey, but they do not define him. He keeps pushing forward, no matter how difficult the road may be. And when a woman sees this kind of resilience in a man, she cannot help but admire him. Because strength is not just about how much a man can lift, it is about how much he can endure, how much he can fight through, how much he can overcome without losing himself in the process. A weak man complains when things do not go his way. He blames others for his failures. He looks for excuses instead of solutions. But a strong man takes ownership of his life. He understands that no one is coming to save him, that success is his responsibility, that his growth is in him. And this mindset is what makes all the difference. Because a man who takes control of his own life is a man who can be trusted to take control in a relationship. He is not reactive, he is proactive. He does not let emotions dictate his actions. He moves with logic, with strategy, with purpose. Women respect men who know what they want and go after it. A man who is indecisive, who is unsure of himself, who constantly second guesses his every move, that kind of man will never hold a woman's full attention. Because a woman wants to feel like she is walking beside a man who knows where he is going. She wants to feel like she is building with someone who has a clear vision for the future. She does not want to waste her time with a man who is still figuring himself out. She wants a man who has already done the work, who has already laid the foundation, who is already moving forward with confidence and determination. A strong man does not let the opinions of others dictate his path. He does not seek validation. He does not follow the crowd. He creates his own path and walks it with confidence. And this kind of independence, this kind of self-assuredness is magnetic, because a man who is truly focused on his purpose does not need external approval. He does not need constant validation from the world. He knows who he is. He knows what he stands for, and he knows that no matter what obstacles come his way, he has the strength to overcome them. Women love men who take charge of their lives, who are decisive, who are strong in their convictions. A man who hesitates, who lacks confidence, who waits for permission to pursue his goals, that kind of man will never inspire a woman's trust. But a man who moves with certainty, with power, with the kind of presence that says, I know what I am doing and I am going to succeed no matter what. That is the kind of man who keeps a woman's respect. At the core of it all, purpose and leadership go hand in hand. A man who has purpose naturally becomes a leader. He does not need to force it. He does not need to demand it. It happens because he is walking with a vision so strong that people naturally gravitate toward him. Women admire men who have built themselves, who have taken control of their lives, who have refused to settle for mediocrity. Because a man who has conquered himself is a man who can lead others. And that is what makes a strong man truly irresistible. A woman feels safe when she is with a man who respects her and protects her, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Respect is the foundation of every meaningful connection. It is what allows a woman to trust, to open up, to give her best self to a man without fear of being taken for granted. Protection is not just about standing in front of her when danger arises. It is about being a shield against the things that could harm her, even the things she does not always see. A strong man understands that these two qualities go hand in hand. He knows that a woman does not truly feel loved unless she feels respected. And she does not truly feel secure unless she knows he will protect her, not just from the world, but also from his own weaknesses, from his own lack of control, from anything that could break the bond they share. A weak man does not understand respect. He may claim to love a woman, but his actions contradict his words. He talks down to her, belittles her, disregards her feelings, and expects her to tolerate it in the name of love. He thinks respect is something that can be turned on and off, something that is earned only when it is convenient for him. But a strong man knows that respect is not situational. It is a constant. It is not something he gives only when she is pleasing him, when she is in a good mood, when things are easy. He gives respect at all times because he understands that a woman who does not feel respected will never feel truly valued. Respect is in the way a man speaks to a woman. Words have power. A weak man uses his words to tear a woman down, to control her, to make her feel small so that he can feel bigger. But a strong man understands that his words should be a source of encouragement, of strength, of guidance. He does not raise his voice to dominate a conversation. He does not resort to insults or demeaning language when he is frustrated. Instead, he remains composed. He communicates with clarity, with intention, with the understanding that respect is not just about how he treats her in public, but also about how he speaks to her behind closed doors. A woman knows when a man truly respects her. She feels it in his presence, in his tone, in the way he listens when she speaks. A weak man dismisses a woman's concerns, brushes off her emotions, makes her feel like she is overreacting when something bothers her. But a strong man listens. Even if he does not fully understand her feelings, he acknowledges them. He does not make her feel crazy for expressing herself. He does not turn every disagreement into a battle for control. Instead, he listens with the intention of understanding, not just responding. That is respect. And when a woman feels that respect, she relaxes. She softens. She trusts him in a way she would never trust a man who constantly makes her feel unheard or unseen. A man's ability to respect a woman is closely tied to his ability to protect her, because protection is not just about stepping in when danger appears. It is about creating an environment where she never has to feel unsafe in the first place. A strong man does not put his woman in situations where she has to question her security. He does not flirt with other women, create jealousy, or make her feel like she has to compete for his attention. He does not entertain disrespect from others, whether it be friends, family, or strangers. He stands up for her, not just when it is easy, but especially when it is difficult. A weak man allows disrespect to happen. He stays silent when someone speaks to his woman in a demeaning way. He lets outside influences interfere in the relationship. He prioritizes the opinions of others over the feelings of the woman he claims to love. And in doing so, he makes her feel unprotected. A woman should never have to wonder if her man will stand up for her. She should never have to question whether he will choose her, defend her, support her. A strong man makes it clear through his words, through his actions, through his unwavering loyalty that he will always be there to protect her, no matter what. Protection also means protecting a woman from himself. A weak man allows his emotions to control him. He lashes out in anger, becomes reckless when he is upset, and takes out his frustrations on the woman who loves him. He sees her as an emotional punching bag, someone who should tolerate his outbursts simply because she loves him. But a strong man understands that protecting a woman means controlling himself. It means knowing when to step away from an argument before saying something he cannot take back. It means having the discipline to handle his emotions like a man, not like a boy. It means understanding that a woman should feel safest in his presence, never afraid of his reaction, never walking on eggshells because she does not know what will set him off. A woman respects a man who has self-control. She admires a man who does not let his emotions dictate his behavior. A strong man does not need to raise his voice to assert his dominance. He does not need to intimidate to prove a point. He remains calm, steady, unwavering in his energy. And in doing so, he creates a space where a woman can feel at ease, where she does not have to be in defense mode, where she can truly let her guard down. A strong man also protects a woman's emotional well-being. He does not play games. He does not manipulate her feelings for his own benefit. He does not make her feel unwanted one day and overly desired the next just to keep her guessing. He is consistent. He provides emotional stability. A woman should never feel like she is on a roller coaster with a man, unsure of what mood he will be in, unsure of whether today will be a good day or another day of silent treatment and avoidance. A strong man makes sure that his woman does not have to live in uncertainty. She knows where she stands with him. She knows his love is real, steady, reliable. Women respect men who respect themselves. A man who carries himself with dignity, who does not allow himself to be walked over, who stands by his principles without wavering. This is the kind of man a woman can look up to. A weak man is inconsistent. He says one thing but does another. He compromises his integrity to fit in. He lacks a backbone, and because of that, a woman cannot truly respect him. But a strong man, he stands firm. He does not need approval from anyone. He does not need to seek validation. He knows who he is, and because of that, his woman respects him without question. When a woman feels respected, she gives everything. She trusts fully, she loves deeply, she supports endlessly, and when she feels protected, she is free to be soft, to be feminine, to be her best self. But when a woman does not feel these things, when she feels disrespected or unprotected, she starts to build walls. She starts to withdraw. She starts to lose faith in the relationship, in the man, in the love they once shared. And once a woman loses respect for a man, it is nearly impossible to get it back. A strong man understands that respect and protection are not optional. They are not things he gives only when it benefits him. They are the foundation of his relationship. They are the qualities that keep a woman invested, that keep her heart open, that make her feel like she has found someone she can truly trust. And trust, once broken, is almost impossible to rebuild. A man who respects and protects his woman will always have her love, not because he demands it, not because he forces it, but because he creates an environment where her love can flourish naturally. And a woman who feels truly safe, who feels truly valued, will never have a reason to look elsewhere. Because a strong man is rare, and when a woman finds one, she knows his worth. A woman is drawn to a man who refuses to stay stagnant, a man who understands that growth is not just an option, it is a necessity. A strong man does not settle for who he was yesterday. He does not make excuses for staying the same, for avoiding discomfort, for resisting change. He embraces challenge. He welcomes adversity. He actively seeks out ways to become better, stronger, more refined in every aspect of his life. And that is what sets him apart. That is what makes him different. Because a man who is growing is a man who is evolving. And a man who is evolving is a man who will always keep a woman engaged, inspired, and invested. A weak man avoids challenge. He avoids anything that makes him uncomfortable. He settles for mediocrity because it is easy, because it does not require effort, because it allows him to stay within his comfort zone. But the problem with comfort is that it breeds complacency, and complacency kills attraction. A woman cannot respect a man who is stagnant. She cannot admire a man who refuses to push himself, who refuses to rise to his full potential. She may tolerate him for a while. She may try to encourage him to do better, but eventually she will lose interest. Because deep down, every woman wants a man who is capable, who is driven, who is always striving to reach new heights. Growth is not just about success, it is about mindset. A strong man understands that he is never finished evolving. He does not wake up one day and decide that he has learned enough, achieved enough, grown enough. He knows that there is always more work to be done. He is constantly seeking knowledge, improving his skills, refining his character, and this kind of mindset is magnetic. A woman sees it and she is drawn to it, because a man who is growing is a man who will never become dull, who will never become predictable, who will never let life turn him into someone he was never meant to be. A weak man resists growth. He clings to old habits, old mindsets, old versions of himself because they are familiar. He fears change even when he knows that change is necessary. He makes excuses. He is too busy, too tired, too overwhelmed. But a strong man finds a way. He does not let obstacles stop him. He does not let temporary discomfort keep him from long-term success. He understands that growth is painful, that it requires sacrifice, that it demands discipline. But he also understands that nothing worthwhile ever comes easy. And a woman respects that. She respects a man who is willing to do what is necessary, who does not shy away from the hard work, who embraces the struggle because he knows it is shaping him into something greater. A man who challenges himself inspires a woman. When she sees him pushing past his limits, refusing to settle, striving for excellence, she cannot help but admire him because his energy is contagious. His drive fuels her own ambition. His hunger for growth makes her want to grow too. And that is what creates an unbreakable connection. When two people are constantly pushing each other to be better, to do more, to reach higher, that is when a relationship thrives. That is when love becomes something more than just comfort and familiarity. It becomes a force, a power, a journey of continuous evolution. But a man who does not challenge himself, a man who is content with being average, he may be good for a short-term fling, for casual attention, for temporary excitement, but he will never hold a woman's full admiration because a woman cannot look up to a man who refuses to push himself. She cannot respect a man who is afraid to struggle. And she certainly cannot be inspired by someone who is perfectly fine with being the same person year after year. Growth is what keeps attraction alive. Growth is what makes a man interesting, exciting, unpredictable in the best way possible. A strong man understands that challenges are opportunities, not setbacks. He does not complain when life gets hard. He does not throw pity parties looking for sympathy. He faces his problems head on. He takes responsibility for his mistakes. He learns from them and he keeps moving forward. That kind of resilience, that kind of determination, it is rare. And when a woman finds a man like that, she knows she has found someone different. She knows she has found someone who will never allow life to break him, who will never allow circumstances to define him. A weak man, on the other hand, is easily defeated. He allows challenges to overwhelm him. He crumbles under pressure. He gives up when things do not go his way. And that kind of weakness is repelling. A woman cannot feel safe with a man who falls apart the moment life gets tough. She cannot trust a man who does not know how to navigate adversity. Because if he cannot handle his own struggles, how will he handle a relationship? How will he support a family? How will he protect her when life inevitably throws challenges their way? A strong man welcomes struggle because he knows it makes him stronger. He does not avoid pain, he embraces it. He does not back down from competition, he thrives in it. He is constantly looking for ways to push himself beyond his limits, to test his endurance, to expand his capacity for greatness. And that mindset is what keeps him ahead. That mindset is what keeps him in a league of his own. A woman does not want to be with a man who is afraid of challenge. She does not want a man who is always looking for the easy way out. She wants a man who is fearless, who is relentless, who is unstoppable. A man who does not let fear dictate his decisions. A man who does not let failure define him. A man who is constantly reinventing himself, constantly improving, constantly striving to be better today than he was yesterday. Growth also means growth in a relationship. A strong man does not expect his relationship to remain the same forever. He understands that love, just like life, requires effort, commitment, and constant evolution. He does not get lazy once he has won a woman's heart. He does not take her for granted, assuming that just because she loves him now, she always will. He continues to court her, to inspire her, to challenge her to grow alongside him, because he knows that a relationship that does not grow will eventually die. A weak man assumes that once he has a woman's love, his work is done. He stops trying, he stops improving, he becomes complacent, and that is when problems start. That is when she starts to lose interest, to pull away, to feel like something is missing, because love is not just about being together, it is about growing together. And a man who refuses to grow will eventually lose the woman who once admired him. A strong man understands that his potential is limitless. He does not place restrictions on himself. He does not settle for good enough. He is always reaching for more, always striving to unlock new levels of success, fulfillment, and strength. And a woman watching him do that, she will never get bored. She will never lose interest, because a man who is constantly evolving is a man who will always keep her intrigued, engaged, and deeply connected. But a weak man, a man who resists change, a man who is perfectly fine staying exactly where he is for the rest of his life, that kind of man will never be able to hold a woman's admiration for long. because she will see the potential in him and she will see that he is wasting it. She will see that he is capable of more, yet he is choosing to remain small. And there is nothing more unattractive than a man who chooses weakness over strength, comfort over growth, fear over challenge. A strong man knows that his journey of self-improvement never ends. He does not aim to be perfect, he aims to be better every single day in his mindset, in his actions, in his discipline. And that relentless pursuit of growth, that is what makes him a leader. That is what makes him unforgettable. That is what makes a woman look at him and say, this is a man I can follow.